Welcome to Objects of Desire,
the podcast in which we talk about the things that mean the most to us.
or tell us who we are, where we came from, or where we're heading. I'm Tony Freund.
And I'm Naz Nazawa.
In every episode, we invite a guest to share the stories behind their one special thing, valued not for its price tag, but for its beauty, craftsmanship, quirkiness, and especially for the way it connects them to the world.
And today, we're joined by artist and influencer Jenny Walton. Based in Milan for the last several years, Jenny's new book, Sais Quois, Adventures in Vintage and Personal Style, explores her path towards self-expression, her obsession with vintage fashion, and her lifelong love of collecting all manner of interesting objects.
Jenny's talking about an Art Deco sculpture she found on first dibs of a female nude that has pride of place in her Milan apartment.
We are so excited to have her with us today to discuss her object of desire.
Well, here we go again, Naz. This is fun, right?
We're having the best time. I wish I was in person with you all, though.
All right. Well, you today are in your home in San Francisco.
That's right.
I am in my office in New York City. And
Ta-da.
that's because our guest, the amazing Jenny Walton, is joining us from her home in Milan. Welcome, Jenny.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so happy to do this. It's so exciting.
Oh my gosh, we're so stoked.
Well, Jenny, you're no stranger to creating content like this. In fact, your career has been, a lot of it has been based on creating all this wonderful content on your Instagram account and your Substack and all. So you're going to teach us how to do this sort of shit.
Yes, please.
No, I feel like I'm not that good at it. It's just 10 years of just like randomly putting up my camera and being like, hey, like I'm walking down the street. Hey, like I'm at a vintage market. And it's like the more, natural in person it is, then the more people like it. And when I try to do something and like really curate it, it's like, it's never as good. So
Oh,
I
how
just try to,
funny. People are so odd that way. Everyone is so very curious about, you're so fabulous. You're so chic, very stylish and beautiful. So I feel like people are just like, I just want to feel like I'm her friend. And if she makes it too professional looking, then I remember that she's actually just like a professional person rather than like my friend inside my phone.
it all just kind of happens by accident, actually. It was like maybe 10 years ago. I started posting on Instagram and I was working as a design assistant at Calypso St. Bart, like sketching all of these fabulous sequin layouts for cashmere caftans for chic women in the Hamptons, but in our really shitty office in Sunnyside, Queens, but like dreaming of this whole thing. And I was living in Park Slope. And I would ride the G train for the length of the G train to the 7 every day. And eventually I was like, I got to use this, these 2 hours every day to actually do something. So I put on my music and I would just sketch and do fashion illustration like I learned to do when I was at Parsons. And we had these amazing fashion sketching classes that were 6 hours long every week. You had to stand the entire time because our teacher was like, you draw better when you stand, and this model would change poses all the time. So I was kind of missing this creativity just being an assistant and, answering emails and following up on samples for factories. And I was like, I'm just going to get creative, in this time I have. And this was right around when Instagram was happening, probably like 2014, 15. And at the end of my long subway ride, I would just post a sketch. And it was so cool because I would just get an immediate reaction from people. And I kind of just kept going with that, and pretty soon editors for magazines were reaching out and people were inviting me to fashion shows. And so it just kind of happened naturally in that way,
And so your persona has always been tied to both your fashion, your own self-presentation, and also your art that you make.
Yeah. And it's nice because it's everything I love to do. And then throughout the years, I would just, of course, always being at vintage markets and flea markets on the weekend. And so I would just always post those things or post what I was wearing or the weird things I found at like Beacon's Closet or the flea market in Chelsea in the garage. And I've just, I think just because it was unique and it was my own thing, people started to be like, wait, whoa, where'd you get that? I started going to fashion shows and I would stand outside shows even if I didn't have a ticket. And I would just, people would be like, wait, where is that from? Like, what is that? And they start photographing you. And like pretty soon it just all kind of happened. It was crazy.
Well, you have a book coming out, which we'll talk about more of, but one of my favorite parts of it is where you describe going as a young woman to, I think it was a fashion event or some sort of event, and Patti Smith was there, and she came into the room, and she sort of stopped in front of you, and you write so beautifully describing the way she sort of took you all in, and then basically she just sort of gave sort of a prayer and a bow, and I think that, I mean, you coulda kinda ended it all right there, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
can't really
No, and
better than that.
that was about 10 years ago. That was really early on. I went with
Yeah.
some friends from Parsons. We were all still assistants. It was this
Yeah.
rooftop event at Barney's, and she was there to sing, and she walked across the room to me, and I was nobody, like, nobody knew who I was, but I had this little vintage fascinator on with the little fur and netting and this peach pale kind of pink floor-length trench, and she just looked me up and down and just bowed and then walked away, never said anything.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I was like, and Simon Doonan was like, "Well, you just got the compliment of the night."
Literally.
I was like, "I should go now. Like, I'm just gonna bow out of this entire thing because it could never be better." Like crazy.
So great. But again, it speaks to your authenticity too, because you were, you know, I mean, if anyone knows authenticity, it's Patti Smith, right? And
Totally.
you know,
Yeah, and randomly, we're from the same town. Basically, I grew up like one town over from her,
South
and
Jersey girl, right?
yeah, Jersey girl. And I
Yeah.
saw her years ago at an event in Milan, and I told her, like, I recounted the story,
Yeah.
and she's like, and I was like, I grew up working at the Dufferin Mall at Gymboree, like the kids' clothing section. My real entry into fashion. Now let's get into it.
That was
But
you or she who was at Gymboree?
me,
Oh, that's where all great
yeah.
fashion,
No, it
That's
was
where the
fantastic.
icons
fashion
start.
started.
That's where it started. All started at Gymboree. Yeah. And I told her, because that mall was the town she's from, Deptford. And she was like, "Oh, that's so
Interesting.
nice. That's so nice." But yeah, she's very, very sweet.
I love that you've had 2 serendipitous encounters with her that we're both so connected to. That's
Yeah.
something.
I mean, that's the crazy thing about being in fashion. I always feel like I'm a little bit on the outside, but then I'm able to pop into these, sometimes little events here and there. And especially in Milan, I mean, I think that's what really made me fall in love with Milan and made me want to move here, is because you would come for Fashion Week. And I'm sure you guys know also, for Salone. Milan is such a special city, especially when it comes to design and interiors. And you'd get to go into, a random shoe presentation. You knock on this like cancello ornate gate outside, you go in, and it's this incredible palazzo, because they always say everything in Milan is hidden, all of the beauty,
Mhm.
you kind of have to discover it. And I felt like I slowly just started to discover this amazing world, and seeing her. I think that event was actually a dinner at La Scala. And you're just in the most, I mean, you can't help but fall in love with Milan. Like,
Of course, your Patti Smith encounter in Milan was at La Scala. Where else
Yeah,
would it be?
right. I'm like, oh, just icon after icon after icon. Like she
But wait, Naz, I need all of the California like info from you, because I am very new to it, because I
I
grew up in New Jersey.
know. You're gonna
And
be a West Coast girly.
I know. Can you believe it?
Amazing.
But I'm totally San Francisco's, and you're based in San Francisco.
I'm based in San Francisco. I grew up in the suburbs of Los Angeles. But wait, where are you? Okay, so like I don't know if people know. Do you want to share your news just in case there are folks who are like, what do you mean?
I mean, you're finding me in the craziest moment, because basically I lived in New York for 15 years, moved to Milan after COVID, been here the past 4 years or so. And I, end of 2024, so about a year ago, started thinking like, I think it's somewhere else. I don't know. I love Milan. I love Italy. I'm always going to have appreciation for it. And I think I really found myself here. I started painting so much. I wrote my book. So much creatively came out of my time here. But honestly, it was mainly the dating. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to find my husband here. No offense. But like, I was just like, I thought I'm not seeing it. So I started taking just basically any invite somebody gave me in America to go somewhere. I was like, yes, because something was telling me it's California. And my friend had did this astrological map that it's just literally a website where you put in your birthday, and it would tell you like where you're going to find love, where you're going to find creative bliss, like all of these things. And he said California. And I was like, that makes no sense. Like, I'm from Jersey. I was in New York forever. Like, I know nothing. I've been to California like 3 times, to LA, and like
Yeah.
nothing. And so I started spending a little bit more time there, because my sister lives up in Northern California, around like Arcata, Eureka.
Oh, way up there. Yeah.
Out there. Yeah.
The true north. The true North
Yeah.
California. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she also met a guy from California and like fell in love and moved there then. But anyway, so I say yes to this press trip in Napa that my friend Yolanda, who does YOLO Journal, is putting on. I'm like, sure, I've never been to Napa. And so on my 6-hour flight from New York to San Francisco, I sit next to this guy who I later find out changed his seat from 2 rows behind me to the middle seat next to me. But first, like, what? Unhinged? Like, why? He doesn't know why he did that either. I mean, who would do that? And so we end up talking. I start talking to him in line for the bathroom, and then we never stopped talking for 6 hours.
Oh God.
We share, and so he's from the Bay Area,
Okay.
and he was going there for work. And I told him I was going to Napa. We ended up sharing a car together afterwards to Napa. And we even I dropped him off at his friend's house, he kissed me, and it was like,
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
This is
it
like
was.
actual Disney movie. This is
No, I was
wild.
like, yeah, no, it was completely unhinged. Also, I guess I was never taught stranger danger or like anything like that. I was just like, hey, I was like, I have this Uber code because it's like a PR trip. You want to share a car? Like, but I just like, we both just felt it. It was crazy. I mean, it's insane. You know, I would
Wait,
have
wait, wait.
never thought that. Yeah.
Back up. Wait, did he move his seat to be with you, or did he
No,
just randomly move his seat?
he just randomly moved his seat. I mean, unless he's like the smoothest guy ever and like saw, you know, my ticket number over my shoulder at some point, and no, but to
Right.
my knowledge,
Uh-huh.
he was in the window seat, two behind me, and
Right.
then an hour before, just on the way to the airport, I guess to just like it was a little bit closer, but he's like, I've never sat in a middle seat ever. Like I would never do that. So he has no idea why.
That's amazing. Wait,
Yeah.
there's been a rumor circulating that you were coming from a First Dibs event when you went there. And so we've also, is that true?
That's true. Yeah. I was
Okay.
it was the day after First Dibs 50.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah. So it was April 24th is when we met last year, 2025. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
For those who don't know, the First Dibs 50 is an annual award we give to 50 interior designers. And every year we do a great dinner somewhere in New York, and we bring somebody in to sort of help us create some interesting content around the event. And last year, Jenny and I shared some Negronis, and she interviewed so many people, including you, Naz, right?
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
so
I
wait,
mean, we
wait, wait.
all
So,
were together before you met this person.
and had you not come from Milan to New York to do the First Dibs 50, you would not have then been on
No.
that plane.
So actually, you're both invited to the wedding, and you're key parts in this love story. Yeah.
This is amazing. I mean, what a butterfly effect. This is so cool.
Yeah, it was just insane. And then when I went back to San Francisco a few days later, we met up again. We had a little date in the park, just looking at the painted ladies, like having our cute little moment. He had my sister who was there. And so I could start to kind of suss out, like, okay, like this guy's amazing, right? And he was just like such a gentleman. He took me to the airport again and was just so sweet. And then I went back to Europe to do a bunch of jobs. So I was in Scotland, I was back in Milan, and then came back through New York a month later because he was still living in New York at that time. And then we had our, we started having like our real dates, not just like talking on the airplane. And it was just instant. Like it was just immediate. So he told me his dream has always been to live in Santa Barbara. And I was like, well, then we should just do it. And we were at a Thai restaurant on the Lower Side. And I think he like dropped the food out. He was like, what? I was like, well, if that's your dream, like, let's do it. Like,
Oh my gosh. Wait, so let me ask you, I mean, as a Jersey girl, do you drive? Like, did you not move to New York before learning? Because you will have to drive out here.
So not only do I drive, and I had to drive to my job at the Dufferin Mall to clothes at Gymboree, baby clothes. I drove 3 hours this morning from the seaside, from Tuscany. I started in Tuscany this morning and drove 3 hours up to Milan because I'm in the process actually of moving out of Milan, but I bought a little house that is being redone in northern Tuscany.
Oh,
so I was there, to work on that because I'm trying to get it ready to put everything from Milan there.
Okay.
Literally Friday in 1 week from now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind moment, but
oh, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, no, me too. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how to pump gas though.
Right. I forget about this. You're not allowed to do that in the Great Garden State.
I mean, not only do you get to pump gas, though, you get to use the squeegee. I love that's my favorite part about getting guests.
I just did that the other day. Yeah, no, that feels good. Yeah.
It's fairly satisfying.
But I think we have to return to our first tips. Object of desire.
Yes, the object of
Okay.
desire, which is
But
moving.
all right, well, Jenny, your object of desire is clearly the guy from the airplane. So, but when you're not obsessing over him, what is the object that you love more than anything else on this planet?
Okay, so I have the object here. It's quite fabulous. And I actually got it on first dibs. Shockingly, not shockingly. Everything great I have is honestly not I'm not just saying that. So basically, when I moved to Milan about 4 years ago, I actually moved with an ex, and then after 2 months broke up with him and had 2 weeks to find somewhere to live. So I had to really scramble. And I found a place. I had one chair and ate all of my meals off of shoe boxes at like they literally Prada shoe boxes, so it's fine. But like I just was I had nothing. And so I started looking on first dibs for really special pieces. And I found a lot of great stuff. And I've always loved decorating with vintage. But there was this one piece, which is actually the first thing I got when I moved into this new place. And it was in this moment where I felt very alone because I had just moved to this new country. I thought I was going there with somebody. Suddenly I was by myself. And I, even though would have these moments of doubt, I felt really powerful in that moment too. It was me, my 2 female dogs. And I had this like brazen female energy that was like, we can do anything, like another like petite girlfriend of mine. And we were moving all my old Prada and stuff in boxes and taxis back and forth. And like, we were like, we can do anything we want. So I found this sculpture and it's from the 1930s. It's an Art Deco wooden sculpture. And I didn't know the artist. And actually it's quite hard to find too much about him because his name is James Charles House, which when I Google, I get the influencer James Charles House tour. So not that helpful. But he actually did a lot of caricature work. And then he ended up working at the University of Pennsylvania, I believe I read. But anyway, he has these gorgeous grouping of wooden sculptures. And this one is a female bust, and she's putting her hands behind her head and she's kind of looking down. And I just love the energy of her. Like, she's very calm and quiet, but still very powerful. And I bought it, and it was actually in the US. So the dealer brought it to me at my sister's place in Brooklyn at the time. And he was so sweet. He like drove 2 hours to bring it to me and unwrapped it from all the bubble wrap. And I just felt so calm when I looked at the piece. And I was also looking for a lot of 1930s things because part of what I love about Milan is a lot of the 1930s architecture. Like, my first apartment was super close to Milan, and I would go there every day. And I have like a green velvet couch behind me. All of my furniture is wood. Like, my sister, my fiance, everybody's like, oh, of course you love it. It's wood. Like, I just love wood. And so she really reminded me of this other beautiful bust that's at Vilanecchi. And I would say I want to create my own little Vilanecchi. Like, that's the dream of my apartment. It was not at all that grand. It's like a 1-bedroom apartment, but I placed her on the entrance table right when you came into the apartment. And for me, she just represented that I could do anything, or that I was really strong. And I liked that when people would come in, the first thing that they would see was this beautiful naked woman. It's a bit like Brazen, but I liked that about it, and I even have a picture of her in my book, and I draped the Mew Mew necklace that I'm wearing over her. I'll show you guys. But yeah, she means a lot to me,
Oh, I had no idea the whole like feminine energy of it all. And I feel like based on how you described it, it feels almost like she was the like counterpoint to your like big, like, I can do anything. Me and my girlfriend and my 2 dogs, like, we're like, and then she's just like, I'm good. Like, I'm just here, like, I don't have to do anything. And my womanhood and my femininity are still powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is her in the book.
So cool.
With the necklace draped over her. But yeah, I just love her. And then like putting different fashion accessories on her too, I think this is like a costume jewelry necklace. It's like plastic and rhinestones. And I like this kind of high-low mix of these different things and different materials. But yeah, she just kind of like set the tone. And even though now I think I've come back down from that kind of moment and I'm very happy, I'm engaged, I feel calm. I don't feel like I need to hit people over the head with like a naked woman the moment they walk into my house. But she still represents that kind of like energy. And now when I look at her, I think of the strengths that I needed in that moment, and I'm reminded of like, yeah, you were so strong, in those moments where I'm like, I can't do this. I'm nervous. Like I'm moving. Oh my God. Like what's going to happen? What's my future going to be like? Like, will this work out? Will all of this work out? She reminds me that like I'm strong, that I did it before. I can do it again.
That is so beautiful. And I also love, like, everybody would, you move into an empty apartment and you clearly didn't need a table because you got the Prada shoe boxes. So what's the first purchase anyone would buy in for an empty apartment? An Art Deco sculpture of a nude woman. Yeah, I love that.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the most practical person. Like I
Yeah.
have about maybe 10 chairs, vintage chairs in my apartment, all of them incredibly uncomfortable. Like this couch, like everybody my friends came for a movie night the first time and they were like telling to each other in Italian. They're like, "Oh, do you need a cushion? Try to sit here. Like maybe it'll be better."
no.
I was like, sorry.
Really?
You come here for the vibes, not the like comfort.
That's right. We suffer for beauty in all ways.
Right.
Well, I'm so interested in the fact that you picked a woman who was unclothed because so much of your identity is wrapped up in the way you clothe yourself. Do you see that as a sort of a freeing thing? Do you see it as something you can the potential of all the outfits you could put on her?
Yeah, I think in that moment I felt very stripped down, and I felt kind of raw. And so
Mhm.
she must have represented just this pure kind of beauty and strength. And, she was enough without all of these different layers. And so now I like to dress her up more cheekily and put things on it. And I like that it can interact with a lot of my fashion objects in that way. And I
Mhm.
also like decorating in that way. Like I always say, clothes are works of art, shoes, especially bags. Like sometimes if I just have a nail in the wall, I'll put a hanger and then just put like a cool old Prada dress on it. And I'm like, yeah, that's my art. Like, that feels good.
It makes sense.
She also just to me represents Milan too, and she's in this kind of Art Deco style, like I was saying, that I'm now excited to bring these elements to Tuscany
Mhm.
and see how they play in a more rustic kind of environment with like terracotta instead of like the terrazzo flooring that I have here. And I think that's how you make really great style. And I talk about that in the book as well. And my kind of thesis is that vintage is a fast track to personal style. And while I do have an essay about building a home, it's called Learning How to Love. And I kind of mix it with, a new love and you're getting to know somebody and you're peeling back the curtain and you're finding the cracks, like not only in your floor, but like maybe their triggers or things about them. And this kind of well-rounded thing that you get to over time of, appreciating everything about them. And that these cracks, represent everything that they've endured before and how strong they still are too. They're not perfect, but they're very strong.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, I like thinking about it this way. And you guys are more, or you probably, work more in interiors and design versus fashion, but I think it's so applicable to interiors as well, right? Like how you have great style. It's not having somebody dictate everything that you do. It's like, what do you really like? What are your, unique interests? And you build a wardrobe off of these different things that are really cool. Same as a room, right?
That's
Well,
amazing.
Naz, you are a professional interior designer. You also have a really thoughtful and wonderful form of self-expression in the way you dress and adorn yourself. So
Oh,
yeah,
shucks.
you of anyone understand what Jenny's talking about here.
Oh, I'm actually like literally, I'm over here like writing a note to myself because I was so inspired by everything you just said. And I can't wait to get my hands on your book. But I also am realizing that perhaps we have buried the lead here. And I don't know that we've talked about or like actually introduced the fact that you have a new book. We're just talking about it because we know, like off camera, we know and are so excited about this. But like, can you tell us about the book? And like, like you
Sure.
mentioned that you wrote it in Milan. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah. So it's called Sais Quois. This is the very first copy that I just received like 2 weeks ago. And it'll be end of April. And it's, basically an editor at Monticelli reached out to me 2 years ago and was like, I've been following you forever. I want to do a Jenny book. I don't know what that would be, but like, let's talk. Her name's Carla. She's absolutely fabulous. And we got on the phone and we just could not stop talking. We cannot have a Zoom that's less than 2 hours. And we just hit it off. And she told me, just go figure out what it might like, just think about it. So over the course of the year, I just constantly took notes and put everything, a lot of it on my phone, just all the things I think I could offer. And in the end, it kind of came down to vintage and personal style. And like I was saying, there's a lot of personal stories, but the thing that kind of brings it all together is that this idea that vintage and going and finding your own thing, it doesn't have to be vintage, could be secondhand, could even be new, but kind of getting off the track of things being fed to you. So going into an old bookshop, going to flea markets, you're watching old films, like doing all of these things will help you cultivate and understand what you really like. And that's kind of a fast track to having a unique, cool personal style. Like right now, Love Story is on and everybody's obsessed again for the 1,000,000th time with Carolyn Bessette, how amazing her style is. And everyone's talking about how like this summer, this fall, everybody's just going to be dressed like her. So now you see all these articles like, yeah, she found hers. Like she knew her style. Like she rarely wore jewelry, super minimal makeup, like barely any labels ever, and a limited color palette. And that was her thing. But you can find out what your thing is, but it takes time. Like I have an essay called like 10,000 hours of style. And I kind of argue style is not something you're innately born with. It's something that you spend a lot of time on. Like, and that might just be playing dress up in your room from the time you're a kid. But it takes time.
Yeah.
Right? So there's all different kinds of essays. There's an essay called How Would You Lick Your Eggs? And it's about being in your 30s and everyone asking you if you've frozen your eggs yet. and I put that in the vintage section just to be funny.
Because a 34-year-old woman is now considered vintage. That's
Oh, I know, right? Well, when
No,
it comes to fertility,
It's crazy. I would sit down
Yeah.
at like a fashion dinner and there'd be a woman next to me. She'd be like, "Oh, how old are you? Are you single? Well, of course you've frozen your eggs, right?"
Oh my God.
It's just so funny, like all of these comments. But
oh, right. I know the indignities of being in your 30s as a woman, and any,
it's crazy.
it's ridiculous.
But it's so cool because you find I think like so far my 30s are incredible because I feel like I can finally be confident enough to really lean into myself and be like, no, that's me. I know what I want to do. I know what I like, and still learning, obviously. But you feel more confident slowly,
Oh,
right?
100%. I'm in my final 30, but it's the best one. I'm so excited to turn 40 later this year. Like everything seems like it just gets better and better. So, I mean, until it doesn't, and then someone will tell me. And I did injure my foot in an exercise class because I'm becoming that level of fragile, apparently. But like other than that, everything is so much better. So that's amazing. Oh my God. I'm so excited for young women to get a hold of your book too, because I think that's so much a part of it. And I think the way that you were able to sort of discover your style through effortfulness is also so inspiring because so frequently we're inundated with like increasingly wealthy influencers and girls with means who have personal style in no small part because they're able to adorn themselves with immediately beautiful things. And the sort of composition aspect of how you create your personal style is something that is still accessible, even though there's like no really good deals anymore. I feel at some of these vintage stores, you can still go to a flea market, or you can make something, or you can just sort of learn a little bit of sewing and modify a garment and make it something that no one's ever seen before. That piece of personal style is something I so wish I had more understanding of when I was in my early 20s and wanting desperately to self-express and wanting desperately to identify who I was because I felt different and I wanted to show that authentically on my person. And I didn't have the money to do it. And it was so tough. So I'm excited. I'm just like, oh my God, every
Yeah.
young woman needs to have this.
Thank you. Yeah, and for me, it really started because my mom's an amazing quilter. She's an incredible
So cool.
sewer. So our home was filled with every wall had a quilt on it. We went to like state fairs on the weekend where she would always win like every award. She was incredible. And my favorite quilt of hers, which I illustrated and rendered in the book, because there's over, I think, 150 of my illustrations in the book
They're
too.
Oh,
And
beautiful
wow.
too. Yeah.
yeah. And so I illustrated this crazy quilt that I grew up with her,
Yeah.
always having around. And I was like, oh, I get that, right? Like that one's mine one day.
Yeah.
And but anyway, she taught me how to sew. She taught me and my sisters how to sew from a young age. So I always was sewing. And so I had a basement full of fabric. And so when I couldn't find the clothes that I wanted at the Deptford Mall, this all comes back to the Deptford Mall, then I would go home and like sew something up in the basement. From her quilting fabric, I would make like a prairie skirt or something. And then I started taking clothing construction classes in high school.
To learn more about our guests, their objects, and First Dibs, a leading online marketplace connecting design lovers with sellers and makers from around the world, please head to the description for links. So Jenny, as an artist, you're often presenting your work right there on your, various social channels. What's it like to get sort of feedback on what you've created in real time?
I mean, sometimes it's amazing. Unfortunately, sometimes the bad comment is the one that sticks out because that's just how the human brain seems to work. But that's how I really started sharing my artwork. And like I said, over I think 12 years ago now on Instagram. And I did it because I could get this immediate response. And then I was able to use it as a calling card and a portfolio. And I didn't need to walk around Midtown to all of the, fashion offices with my portfolio. Like my page was my calling card. And for everything negative that comes out of social, that is still something really great, is that you can reach so many people. And you just couldn't do that 20 years ago. You had to know somebody or your work just had to be so incredible that it would somehow reach their desk. But now you can create your own following and you can create your own momentum and share your own story. You don't have to wait for somebody like Vogue to write something about you. You can make that connection with your audience. And so that's something that's always been really important to me. And it's why I'm so happy to have this book that I can share with my audience now. And they get to see all of this artwork. And even the paper cover of it, I hand painted. And it's this kind of trompe l'oeil idea of a vintage paper kind of worn away. And then there's fabric underneath. This is a vintage fabric that I have that then I painted. So there's all these different layers, and it's amazing to be able to share that with an audience that's followed you and grown with you for so long.
That's so special. I really love that. I'm so excited about this book.
Yeah, it ended up being like a visual diary.
What I loved about the book too in the early stages when you talk, and I'd love for you to talk a little more about your mother, because the early chapter where you talk about you and your sisters and your mom going to not just to state fairs, but to flea markets or whatever. I just I think it really gets at what a collector is. And you started, or your sister, at 5. I would talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my mom was a teacher, and so she's a German teacher, actually. So in the summer, she would have the summer off, and she loves flea markets. She loves antiquing. She loves a good deal. I joke that she could turn her van around like you've never seen it. Just the whisper in the back of the van of like, was that a yard sale sign? She's like a NASCAR driver, like, and you're like, oh my God. My poor father, he's had like so long of it. But so she would give us each $5. And we would go to this flea market called Cowtown. That's what the first essay is about. And so that's what really started me collecting. And I'm so happy she did that, because it taught me to trust my own taste and to develop my own taste, because she's like, here's $5, do what you will with this. And this was the 90s. And so you could get a lot of things. And so I started collecting old smoking pipes that farmers would because I thought the curvature of them was beautiful. And I just became obsessed with them. So, in my like 3rd grade bedroom, I had like a collection of vintage smoking pipes in a pipe stand, like on top of my dresser. And I was like, yeah, that's just normal. Like, that's just something we do. My little sister was 5. She wore pink cowboy boots everywhere. She was so cute with like little pigtails. And she was missing her teeth, so she had this little kind of lisp, and she would go up and ask people like, how much for these salt and pepper shakers? And she would have this like cute little like thing, and they'd be like, oh, like you can just have them, or they charge her a quarter. So we ended up with this like just attic full of trays and trays of salt and pepper shakers, like ceramic, plastic, everything. My older sister she was just doing more like action figures and different things like, but she even found some cool old like Egyptian etchings. And we just found like the weirdest things that we were like, yeah, like we're going to get this. And that really helped me just start, like trusting my taste, like I said, but also figuring out how to do it on a budget. Like you were saying, I was like when you're, young and but also when I was in college, like I never had any money until a few years. And my first job as a design assistant, I think paid like $27,000 a year. I had like
Oh my
2
God.
roommates in Brooklyn. Like somehow I made it work. And so, but I rarely had more than like $40 left over.
Yeah.
So even the first few years I was an assistant, I would go to the flea market in Park Slope because I lived on the bottom edge of Park Slope. And I would go there on the weekend and I would try to find like a cool old vintage folding table. Like I got this cool bamboo card table from the 50s and like put that in my apartment, and or like just finding a dress or a cool pair of loafers or something. But it's almost like those design shows they had back in the day where you had like a challenge, or like here's like $40, like go find something. It actually helps you get better taste, I think, quicker.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, right? Like if you don't have some sort of a challenge aspect of the hunt, everything
Restraint.
looks good. Yeah, like you need to have some sort of a limitation or some sort of tension, I think.
Totally. Yeah. And like you were saying, a lot of people online, a lot of like influencers, quote unquote, that people look up to, a lot of them have very like similar style sometimes.
Yeah.
It's hard to differentiate. And I think, when you're all going to the same places, to the same stores and looking at the same new collection, or you're being suggested the new things on Instagram, it's like, of course that's going to happen,
Right.
You're being
Exactly.
remunerated for promoting a certain designer or house, then you also you become sort of less interesting and also less trustworthy, right?
Right, right. Which is really tough too, right? Because some of the folks who are online they really are genuinely trying to make a living. And so it is tempting to take the money from the brands that have the budget to fuel influencer content. But so I have a lot of heart for all of it. I'd love to talk a little bit, Jenny, about improvisation when it comes to the way that you think as a collector these days. Because one of the things that I loved that you mentioned, for folks who don't know a lot about quilting, you had mentioned crazy quilts, and maybe they would think that you just meant that the quilt was crazy looking, but it's actually a kind of quilting that's actually my personal favorite, right? Where it's very improvisational. It's about just looking at the scraps that you have, and rather than planning piece by piece or setting ahead, I'm going to do a grandmother's flower garden type of quilt or like a pinwheel quilt. You just kind of get going, right? Is that, you'll know more about quilting, but is that roughly what the
Yeah.
crazy quilt technique is?
Yeah, I believe so. And I think they became prominent around the Victorian era.
Yeah.
And what you'll often see in them is, like you said, there's scraps, which I love about it. It's this improvisation because it's all of these random shapes. So nothing's really planned out ahead. But the point of them was to be able to show your wealth in whatever way you could. So that's why you'll see a lot of silk velvets. You'll see a lot of heavy silk brocades, moire. Like you see all of these really expensive, heavy fabrics, because you wanted to be able to show all of these different, and they're dyed beautiful colors. You see a lot of like teal and pink and magenta, and they're very, very rich. But at the end of the day, it's scraps. It's the thing that would be on the cutting room floor. So it's such a fabulous expression, I think, it's like zero waste before zero waste.
And is it a metaphor for the way you kind of have composed your closet and your
Yeah, like
life?
how do you do your press outfits? Like, are you planning ahead, especially if it's travel? Are you just sort of like filling a suitcase with stuff and then deciding on the fly what feels good that day?
Oh, I've never been more confused. This is one of the first things that I'm doing. So I'm lucky because I still have Milan for now. But I'm basically going to be out of a suitcase until I kind of find something in California. So I am terrified about that. I have some chic things that hiding away at my parents' house in Pennsylvania. So if I have New York things, I plan to try to pop over there. And so I've been trying to find some cool things. I found a really cool set from the 50s. It's silk brocade, and it's pink and blue, the same colors as the book. So I have that tucked away, and I'd like to use that for. I know I've been thinking. I have a whole section in the book called color paletting, about putting outfits together based on different color palettes that are interesting. And kind of thinking about your outfit and your wardrobe more in the way that a painter would put together a painting, or the way that an artist would look at contrast, or, different things like this, instead of, what label this is, or who has this and who doesn't have that. So yes, it's going to be crazy. But I kind of enjoy that more. I find that when I put together outfits just in the spur of the moment, or right before a fashion show, sometimes instead of trying to plan out something perfectly for weeks, I feel like sometimes those come out better, and I feel more comfortable because it's just more in the moment, not like what I think I'll want to wear 2 weeks from now. So I think I'm going to try to lean into that and hope for the best.
The book is an amazing calling card for you because, as you said, I mean, not only has these wonderful, personal essays on a variety of objects or subjects, but you also have lushly illustrated it with your artwork, which I think also makes it feel incredibly, personal and intimate. So talk about that, using, how you decide what you were going to use to illustrate. Talk about your art and your art practice, because I think that, if you talk about that less than maybe we talk about your incredible style. You're also an incredibly talented artist.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so I have a lot of pre-existing artwork, and since this is my first book, we were able to insert a lot of that into the book, which I was really happy with. But I also came up with these 30 different essays, and so a lot of the artwork was actually just created for the book as well. But I always grew up painting. You could always find me hiding in the art class, like all of high school. That's where I always was. And so I knew how to paint, but I studied more of fashion illustration. So that's something that I've practiced, and I've worked with a lot of brands, Miu Miu, Gucci, Bottega. I've done a ton of in-store events where I illustrate clients. I've done campaigns and things for Cartier. I've worked with a lot of fashion brands and more of the fashion illustration space, and that's been amazing. But once I moved to Milan, I really wanted to challenge myself in this, strong moment that I was in now, standing on my own. I had always really wanted to oil paint. And so I started with acrylic, and then quickly realized that dries way too quickly. And I was like, I'm not good enough for this. This is drying faster than I can keep up with. I was like, how about this oil thing? So I slowly taught myself how to oil paint. And I would go to the museum all the time in Milan, and there's great museums. And I would go to Paris, for Fashion Week, and just spend most of my time in the museums just studying paintings. And that's something that it's kind of, my artwork has progressed in that way over the past 4 years since I've been here. And I think that can't help but happen in a city like Milan. You just want to be so creative, and there's so many amazing colors, and so it's kind of developed in that way. So there's a lot of oil paintings in the book as well.
All right, I have no aptitude for foreign languages, Jenny. So you've moved to Milan. You now speak fluent Italian. How are you going to keep using that and apply it to your life when you move to California?
I plan on, hopefully always coming back to Italy in the summer and being here for Salone and different things. So I think I'll keep it alive in that way. I have a lot of friends as well in here that I talk to often. But I think I'm going to have to just find like the best Italian restaurants and bakeries and cafes, which I'm sure, California is home to very, very good food in my experience so far. So I'm hoping I can do that. I did that when I was in Brooklyn, when I was in the process of getting my Italian visa to study. And I found a completely Italian bakery in East Williamsburg, where I even had an Italian propose that we get married, because then it would be easier for him to get the American visa and me to get the Italian one. Didn't take him up on his offer, but that was a fun place to practice Italian.
In practice, getting engaged to perfect strangers.
Yeah, exactly. And totally, hey, maybe that's where it started. Maybe I have a thing for this.
Well, Jenny, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Is this an interview?
I'm trying to be like a real interviewer podcast. Like, so
Did this go so well that I'm getting hired at first?
Yeah, you come
Yeah.
on, come on. You're already honorary, so let's make it official.
Yeah, right?
We don't have a
I
Santa Barbara office, so yeah,
Oh, I
maybe we
don't
need
know.
to open one. Yeah.
Um, I'm excited. I think I found hopefully the sweet spot. You're kind of finding me at the beginning of this journey where I'm jumping again, to into a new adventure. So I'm really excited to see what happens. But I like this idea of still holding on to Italy with this little Tuscan tiny mountain house. My village has 15 people, and they're the sweetest, most amazing people. It's only like a half hour from the sea as well. And so that I want to keep as my kind of special little summer place. I'd like to hopefully write more books there, work on more paintings there. It has a nice little garden for the dogs. So my dream is to have that for the summer and then have a place for the winter, California, that has better weather than Milan does in the winter. No offense, but it's very gray.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, my dream is to hopefully, keep being inspired and hopefully go on this great new Californian adventure and see what happens, I guess.
No, you are so set up for success. So I can't imagine it's not going to be. We're all going to get to watch the journey too, which is always exciting. I have to say, I live 4 blocks from the apartment I grew up in, so I am always inordinately amazed at the bravery of people who can, actually move across town. Let alone you have now gone from New Jersey into New York City to Milan to Tuscany and now to California. You are actually one fierce woman. You are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
It
pretty.
means a lot. Thank you.
We also, at a certain point in the podcast, we tend to turn to our guest and ask them the big question, which is, why do objects matter? Why do we desire them?
I think objects matter because it's it's a way to almost see the outside, a tangible expression of what we feel inside. And so that could be an amazing color combination or a beautiful shoe even or an incredible painting, but objects matter because it's this way to not only understand what you really love and see it, visualize it also connects you to other people because it's an amazing vintage chair. Someone made that. And if you connect to that, whoever made that chair or whoever they made it for, they really loved that color green too, or that velvet, or, they were an amazing woodworker or whatever it is. But that's why I care so much about objects and beautifully made and designed
Mm.
objects. They don't have to be expensive. I mean, it can be, an object that you use every day. It's just like the outside manifestation of what is beautiful to you, on the inside. And that's why I love collecting so much. There's just beautiful objects make me happy. And like I said, they're also created by people, by other people. And so it's in a way, even though they're not maybe alive, you would say, they were made by people. And so they have the capacity to hold that energy, I think, of the person who made it or designed it. And it's a beautiful way to connect in that way too.
I love that.
I think it's so interesting that you collected pipes because one, it was sort of an unorthodox collection for a young girl, so it also showed you were sort of brave and unapologetic about the things you loved, even as a young girl. But then I'm also looking at this figure behind you and thinking, well, she's sort of a pipe too, right? I mean, the same sort of wood carved, sinuous form sort of makes me think about how everything is connected. Beautiful objects are connected, and the things we are compelled toward also have some sort of thread that you can find in all of them.
Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful thing. You start early, you start later, but whenever you start following your own taste and what you actually like, everything will always kind of work together because there'll always be this line that connects them all, even when you put together an outfit. It's like I don't have to worry about putting together looks because I know everything in my wardrobe I love, and I consistently love the same shades of blue since I was 5.
But you've never actually been all that concerned about what other people thought about the things you gravitated toward, because it seems like sometimes you'll go off, kind of off to the left or right, and that was just never a concern that you were being somehow ridiculous, or
No, I think my mom was just she's just such a strong, powerful woman, and she just did whatever quilt she wanted. She didn't care what was cool or what other people were doing, and she really raised me and my two sisters to just be very fearless and follow our own instincts. And she never said anything was, right or wrong when it came to any of that. I think I really have her to thank for that. She was very present, in our life and really exposed us to so many creative things. And because of that, I have the 10,000 hours, by the time I got to school, like I had all of this time. So I think she really led me into that.
Shout out to moms
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I actually did want to get to your mom because I do think that's, I really, that's a takeaway that was a takeaway for me from reading the book, that, wow, what a gift of, of your mom, sort of just even like empowering you with that $5 bill, no judgment, no whatever, no, when you came back with something ridiculous, like go out and I was actually very moved by that anecdote. So
Aw.
I'm glad we got to talk about it in the
Yeah.
podcast.
Well, thanks for asking about that. I could talk about my mom forever. She's really
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah.
thank you.
This has been incredible. Oh my gosh, Jenny, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Milan in the middle of your night. This means a
Well,
ton.
thank you for joining us, Naz, in the middle of your morning.
Oh my goodness.
I'm here just in the middle of the middle. So,
The middle.
yeah.
Aw,
this
thank
is
you
a
both so
delight.
much. This is really such an honor. I was so happy when you asked me, and I'm happy I get to share something that I love in the book as well, and that I just got to chat with you guys. Like I would have just done this for fun.